Imagine standing on a wooden plank resting flat on the ground. Walking across it requires zero effort, zero anxiety, and zero concentration. You take a step, then another without a single second thought. But what happens if you take that exact same wooden plank and elevate it 300 feet in the air, spanning the gap between two towering skyscrapers? Suddenly, your palms begin to sweat. Your heart rate violently spikes. Your body freezes in utter paralysis. The plank has not changed. The physical task remains entirely identical. Yet, the emotional importance you have attached to the outcome has surged to a critical life-or-death extreme. In the quiet realm of quantum physics and modern cognitive neuroscience, this precise phenomenon explains why the things you desperately crave seem to run away from you, while the people who seem to want nothing effortlessly attract everything they could ever desire. When you pedestalize a goal, your frantic emotional energy creates a destructive psychological imbalance that actively repels the target. The high-stakes pressure turns a simple walk into an agonizing tightrope act. If you peel back the curtain on the lives of individuals who effortlessly draw in wealth, profound relationships, and explosive career opportunities, you will discover a psychological blueprint that completely defies conventional wisdom. The average person lives in a perpetual state of outcome dependency. They constantly hold onto wanting, craving, and striving, desperately trying to force reality to bend to their rigid expectations. Yet, the harder they pull, the further their goals recede into the distance. It is an exhausting, relentless cycle of frustration. Meanwhile, the individual who remains fundamentally detached from specific outcomes seems to operate like a powerful magnetic force. Opportunities find them out of nowhere. Breakthroughs fall directly into their lap. They move through life with a calm, unbothered smile, enjoying a state of profound ease and fulfillment. To understand why this happens, we must look at the groundbreaking framework of reality transurfing, a revolutionary perspective on reality creation. At the very heart of this body of work lies a critical concept known as excess potential. Whenever you attach exaggerated importance to any desire, whether it is money, love, health, or recognition, you create a massive wave of excess emotional potential. According to fundamental natural laws, the universe always seeks equilibrium. When you build up extreme emotional pressure around an outcome, powerful balancing forces are automatically triggered to eradicate that excess energy. More often than not, these balancing forces eliminate the energy by ensuring you fail to achieve the very thing you are obsessing over. The person who magnetizes success has mastered the rare art of systematically lowering importance. They retain clear preferences and ambitious goals, but they utterly refuse to elevate those desires to a level of life-or-death necessity. Conversely, the struggling individual is constantly raising importance. They transform their goals into absolute conditions for their survival and happiness. They tell themselves that unless they secure this specific job, win over this specific person, or hit this specific financial target, their life will be an unmitigated disaster. The moment you enter this desperate mindset, your creative capacity grinds to a sudden halt. Everything becomes a frantic struggle against an unyielding world. Consider the biological reality of what happens inside your brain when you raise importance to a fever pitch. In psychology, the Yerkes-Dodson law proves that elevated psychological arousal and extreme stress severely degrade cognitive performance. The second an outcome becomes an absolute necessity, your brain interprets the situation as a threat to your survival, flooding your bloodstream with excessive amounts of cortisol and adrenaline. This surge of stress hormones completely shuts down your prefrontal cortex, the sophisticated region of your brain responsible for long-term strategic thinking, creative problem-solving, and intuitive pattern recognition. High emotional importance forces your nervous system into a state of severe biological tunnel vision. You become physically incapable of noticing the unexpected avenues and creative solutions waiting right in front of your face. By trying to force a specific result through sheer mental aggression, you end up blinding yourself to the natural paths of least resistance. The person who successfully operates with low importance adopts an unwavering internal mantra that completely releases the pressure valve of life. It will be this or something better. They recognize that their conscious mind possesses a very narrow view of what is truly possible. When you become hyperfixated on one rigid outcome, you restrict the infinite intelligence of the universe from delivering something far superior. By declaring that you are fully satisfied with either your target outcome or an even greater alternative, you instantly dissolve the destructive excess potential. You open up vast psychological space for incredible synchronicity to flow into your experience. This dynamic explains why so many high achievers fall victim to what Harvard psychologist Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar calls the arrival fallacy. Society conditions you to adopt a deeply toxic framework, the feel great when strategy. You relentlessly tell yourself that you will finally feel happy, secure, and worthy when you buy that luxurious house, when you reach 7 figures in your bank account, or when you find the perfect partner. But empirical research, including the world-famous Harvard study of adult development spanning over 8 decades, proves that external milestones have almost zero correlation with long-term internal fulfillment. When people finally achieve the grand target they spent years obsessing over, dopamine rapidly drops, hedonic adaptation sets in, and they are left with a hollow sense of emptiness. They realize too late that chasing an external object to fix an internal state is a fundamental illusion. The underlying force driving high importance is almost always a deeply negative emotional state. If you trace the root motivation behind why you are obsessing over an outcome, you will inevitably hit a wall of hidden fear, pride, frustration, or guilt. You fear you are not enough as you are. You worry that without external validation, you will be exposed as a failure. But reality does not respond to what you claim you want. It responds entirely to your underlying state of consciousness. Dr. David Hawkins illustrated this beautifully in his mapping of human consciousness. Operating from lower states like fear and craving relies on force, a low vibrational energy that requires relentless friction, heavy strain, and constant struggle. Operating from higher states like neutrality, acceptance, and inner peace connects you to genuine power, an effortless state of flow where circumstances harmonize naturally around your internal baseline. To put this into practical perspective, you must learn the critical distinction between importance and priority. Lowering importance does not mean abandoning your ambitions, becoming lazy, or pretending that you have no desires. Priority dictates where you direct your conscious time, focus, and energy. Importance is the toxic emotional demand that reality must conform to your exact demands for you to be okay. You can easily make a project your highest daily priority while maintaining absolute emotional detachment from the ultimate result. You show up, do the work with excellence, and take dynamic action, but you leave the ultimate timeline and delivery mechanism entirely up to the universe. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, a timeless principle popularized by Neville Goddard, you are deliberately tuning your emotional baseline to the exact frequency of your goal before it manifests in physical reality. You actively cultivate the inner peace, confidence, and gratitude that you assume the target would give you. And here is the profound paradox of existence. Once you generate those elevated emotional states within yourself right now, the external world no longer holds power over your well-being. Because you no longer desperately need the outcome to save you, the energetic barrier holding it away vanishes entirely. The goal is suddenly safe to enter your life because it no longer threatens your emotional equilibrium. Everything you could ever dream of manifesting already exists in the realm of the non-physical unknown. Your current daily life is merely the physical known, a limited reflection of your past thoughts, habits, and ingrained emotional conditioning. Most people fruitlessly try to change their known world by manipulating the physical pieces already present on the board. They hustle harder, burn the candle at both ends, and attempt to force results through sheer exhausting effort. But real transformation never originates in the physical realm. It requires you to step into the unknown by shifting your internal state of being. By aligning your inner energy with your vision while releasing all rigid control over how you unlock the profound co-creative power of the universe. Opportunities that once seemed completely impossible will suddenly begin to materialize. The exact right person will cross your path at the precise moment you need them. Breakthrough ideas will strike you out of nowhere during moments of quiet relaxation. You will find yourself taking inspired action, taking smooth, natural steps that feel entirely light, calibrated, and fun rather than heavy, forced, and agonizing. This is not passive wishful thinking or sitting idly on the couch expecting miracles to fall into your lap. It is the sophisticated art of operating in complete harmony with the underlying mechanics of reality. When you clear away the subconscious anchors of fear and obsession, you stop treating life like a high-stakes emergency and start treating it like an expansive, joyous game. You realize that you are a spiritual entity having a temporary human experience, and no single outcome, financial figure, or external achievement can ever add to or subtract from your intrinsic core worth. The moment you truly embody this deep truth, the heavy cloud of unnecessary importance lifts forever. The invisible walls crumble, the pressure disappears, and the life you have spent so long desperately chasing finally turns around and effortlessly pursues you. Until next time, this is this channel.